Okay guys, Dr. Haywood here. I'm at Yellowstone National Park, and this week's field trip, I think I'm going to do the whole thing right here at the Grand Prismatic Spring. There's a series of geysers and hot springs here, but the one up on top is called the Grand Prismatic. It's really cool if you look at pictures from overhead from like a helicopter or something above it, as it has all these cool colors. But I'm just going to walk the boardwalk and maybe do it all in one sequence here and show you all these cool pools and the different colors and all the mist and steam coming off. It's pretty awesome. So. See where all that hot water is pouring down into the cold water of the river. It's just creating all this steam all the way upriver. It's pretty cool. And then it leaves all these mineral deposits that have all these orangish and reddish colors in them. It's pretty cool. At the Grand Prismatic Spring, this lower basin is just full of water, but it's just constantly churning up steam, and it's almost hard to see down in it. You kind of got to circle around it and look down in there. When we were here in the summer, the wind blows through here a lot, and there were hats everywhere from people. And then there were also buffalo tracks all through here. Quite often when you're driving through Yellowstone, you'll see different places like this, and sometimes the buffalo are out walking right along the edges of the hot springs or down in some of the warmer waters. You can see their tracks all over right in here. So the buffalo hang out in here as well. But here's the first big basin, the prismatic. The colorful ones up on top, but this is just a big deep pool of blue water when you can see it, but it's hard to see it. Every once in a while the wind will clear away some of the mist and you can see it a little easier, but with the cold air meeting that hot water, it's sometimes hard to see. So hopefully it doesn't erupt while I'm standing right here. So. so I don't get burned to death. Yeah, it's hard. In the summer, the air's not so cold out here, and so you can actually see down into the blue waters down in there. A bunch of hats down in there too. That's just a big basin with a ton of blue water in it. It's a really big, deep pool normally, but can't see it right now. Bunch of ice on the boardwalk. Oh, kind of got a glimpse for a second there. I keep the camera on it just in case it clears suddenly and you can see down in there. Glasses are steaming up. Can't see. Okay, that's that big deep basin right there that the air's so cold you can't really see down into it. It's just producing too much steam, but you can see this valley here, and they call these basins, and they're all over the park, and you can pull out and walk through them on boardwalks and see different things and formations. Some of them are more popular and more famous than others because of different things, but there's tons of places you can just wander through and enjoy these formations. And Mother Nature's pretty interesting. Earth is an interesting place. You see these different mineral deposits in different levels here. Kind of cool. And when you can see this, it might be too cold out, but when you can see it, it's like a rich blue and orange all through there. This is the Grand Prismatic Spring. Here's the little sign. You can see when people walk in there, it leaves their footprints. And these are a delicate bacterial mat, and they want people to stay off of it. So you can see a buffalo track in there, and either a dog or a wolf track out in there. There are wolves in Yellowstone. They reintroduced them years ago. So you can kind of see some of the colors down in there. I don't know if you can see them on the camera, but kind of a rich orange, and then there's some deep blue out in there. Yeah, I think those are just dog tracks. Wolf tracks are really big, like they're as big as my hand. I saw them for the first time in Canada when I was deer hunting in Canada, and wolf tracks came in to our tree stand, and the tracks were just huge. They're as big as my hand. It's just amazing how big those animals are. You don't realize it. So yeah, it's just so cold out you can't really see the pool and that rich blue water. You can kind of see some of the colors here. Just the cool formations inside the water. How these mineral deposits look. there. So on this pool, you can see that rich blue water. Hopefully you can see it on the camera. I can see it. And that's how those other two pools, the Excelsior Spring and then the Grand Prismatic up there, normally look, but because of all the steam from the cold air hitting that warm water, it's hard to see that rich blue water and the orange around it on those other two. But in the summer it's a little easier to see because the air is warmer. So. So that's Grand Prismatic Spring and Excelsior Geyser. Pretty cool place in the park, pretty famous place. In the summer we had to park way up the road and walk down the road, and because the parking lot was so full and stuff. But here in the fall nobody's here, but you don't get to enjoy the rich blue waters as much in the fall, but it's still pretty cool. All this steam and mist and the mineral deposits and the microorganisms that grow and all that stuff. So thanks for coming on this field trip with me. We're doing about 3 or 4 weeks in a row here in Yellowstone National Park, and this was one of the weeks. So thanks for coming, guys. See ya.